First and foremost, as always, the most important things for me to say is to say thank you, God. Thank you. What I'm thankful for, and what in my videos I've been saying that it's because as bad as my health is going to be, as bad as my health is, as bad as my sanity is, I gotta be thankful. I need to be thankful. And why I'm thankful as a target individual, even though I'm going through bad things and life is not easy, I need to be thankful for the fact that I'm not one of these losers the government utilize. It's clear that this is a program led by the government. The gimmicks and the things they put around us to disorient us, to make you believe that this is anything but a massive government, is almost comical. The reason why I say I'm thankful is that I could have been one of these low life bottom feeders that are the one implementing the things onto us that are torturous. It seems like there's not very high selective aspect of who can be involved in this. But the lack of self-respect one has to have, even though it's as facilitated as it gets to be involved in this, I'm just so thankful I didn't find myself being involved in this. As a target individual, I deal with this purpose who try to recreate reality, and it's comical. Listen, one thing that they failed, and the reason why I say thank you, God, is because I understand that obviously this is way bigger than what they try to present, and it's something governmental, clear, and we're clearly being utilized like guinea pigs as target individual. And the psyop and the facades is part of the tactics that's supposed to deceive the target individual to accepting whatever nasty manipulation that we're forced to experience. And the trash involved in that, for me, have been doing their best to try to cover up the reality that what they're part of is so torturous that even children are being tortured. And so when I start my videos, I always start with the base of that. So when we face each other, if they think they can be deluding anybody that the reality of what they're part of is that torturous to children, they will not escape from that reality. And a lot of these opportunities, low life, I find hard to counter that, to negate that. Matter of fact, for me, they have this rage base. Let me just say this again. This rage bait clowns that while I make videos or whenever I'm trying to put things back in perspective, via voice to skull, because I'm a target individual who deals with V2K and synthetic telepathy, they're implanting their disgusting voices into my brain and say the things that are supposed to disorient me. And they say things that will raise my rage, my anger, by design, to disorient me. And they utilize this non-adult trash. I don't even want to call them children. I don't even want to call them kids, even though they are kids. I refuse to humanize them because I want to make sure that whenever I see this clown doing whatever they do, I can react accordingly. I'm not trying to be threatful, but there's no way that this rage baiter will live a reality where they are some kind of heroes. They're trash that put a lot of effort and take pride in negating the horrible things that they have to cover up because they're part of that. And the reason why they cover that up is because in order for me to internalize this nasty manipulation, at least them trying to make me internalize this, they're gonna have to cover up the horrible things that they do to even children and women. And so they task this to this rage baiter to help disorient me enough to never and which is too late because I'm already locked in with the reality that they are torturing babies and women and then trying to make me acceptive of these manipulations. They do these diabolical things to the children, do these horrible things to women, and try to vilify me toward whatever they can, and then try to make me internalize into this manipulation. So when I see this trash, first of all, they will be accountable for what they're part of, and whatever consequences that come from that, it will be specific to the accountability that they're involved in a program that does this and wanting to make me accept this and was putting this nasty, disgusting effort to counter that and paint themselves as that. Listen, going back to this target measure, please understand this is a governmental program. I know that these clowns around me at the bottom feeders and the whole thing. I was going through, I mean, this exact hierarchy of how things are going here, maybe not fully on transparent or aware, but we can all agree that this is clearly governmental entities, and the people sitting on top of all these things are clearly related to either the DoD or the intelligence community, from the CIA to whatever else. And then this low life around you fall some way at the really bottom of this hierarchy. I'm not saying that what the targeted justice in regard of how they have created this org chart, in regard of perhaps how they think things are structured, but it's clear that there is a level of who is really in charge and who implements this. And I'm aware of that. For example, on the website Target Justice here, you see something like that, right? And at the bottom of this whole thing, you see Citizen Corp, InfraGuard, local police. They're like more the lowest level. Now, I think if you're even lower than the local police are probably higher than this Citizen Corp, which is the perps that are just citizen. They're probably at the lowest level. But on top of that, we see CIA, different type of DoD entities. And it's funny because like the CIA, there's like the handlers, which are the CIA. The people really in charge. Now these clowns that are handlers to us target control, they're not the people in charge. They're just implementing what the real people in charge. I think that should be how they need to handle target control. They are the architecture, and this trash are just the bottom feeders that implement these things. I understand that. Target control, please don't get lost to think that these people are anything else but the bottom feeders in this whole thing. Although they're gonna try to make themselves sound like they are, like the top of this whole thing. Matter of fact, with me, the things they say is like, oh, it's our court, it's this and that. I was like, no. If this is you are like at the bottom of this whole thing. I mean, above the target individual, because target individual, we are the test subject, but in this whole architecture of control, and who's there are some bottom feeders, and the Department of Justice is somewhere higher, which we know the courts are Department of Justice courts, which are also involved in this thing. So you have these losers who want to recreate reality for me, and the reason why they do this and really focus on that is because they want me to see them as this like portal of just protectors of women and children and this and that, a whole bubble of stupidity that I was supposed to be ingesting, so I can internalize this manipulation. And so for me, that's why I say thank you, God, because I could be one of these losers in this low life. Some of them are not even adults, which I don't want to call them kids. It's funny because they were trying to mess with me because I was, when I talk, sometimes they try to mess with me, and I said something about things, and they're like, oh, we're things, and they were referring to because they're not adults. I was like, you guys are things. You're not human beings. Now, of course, they're human beings. They're not machinery or anything. They are fully human beings. But I'm saying I don't consider them human anymore. You are things that's supposed to cover up the sufferings of children and women. You're not human, even though you are human. My point, I see them for the trash that they are. They work day in and day out to try to disorient you and manipulate you into it and internalize this manipulation. They are not human to me. They're trash. They're disgusting things, spending their time covering up the horror of what they do. You know, for me, the reason why they thought they're gonna gaslight me saying things, because as I'm making videos, sometimes I'm trying to describe what's happening. It's like, oh, this baby. It's like, oh, look what they're doing to this. And I think one day I say thing instead of say baby. They're like, oh, they're things. They're not human. It's like, trash. You're just messing with my speech. But you are things. You guys are nasty low bottom theory things that are trying to cover up what you do to children. Because they then want to present themselves as protectors of children. It's so disgusting. And the way they do that is by manipulating me. Not only for speech, but literally thought process, emotions, memories, different trickeries and deceptive tactics. Utilized day in and day out. And wanting me to internalize this. Like I said, the psyop for me has been like this, and they use gender big time. Big time use gender to try to cover up reality. I was supposed to think it's a part of this like fierce feminist, like Me Too-ish, like and thing that was supposed to cover up. We were supposed to like protect children. And then when I would put so much aware of how torturous they are to children, it's like, oh, it's not fair, boring. They say things like that to try to kind of agitate me. Like I said, there's a lot of rage baiting tactics too. I think the reason why it's utilized is also kind of when you are in rage, you don't think clearly. It's hard for you to put yourself in a way to think in a way that maintain rationality. And they want you to be disoriented enough so they can implant their stupidity into your brain. You have to be almost mentally retarded to accept what they try to do, as if they're not manipulating you. And so I think the reason why they utilize rage and anger as such ways, because that makes it hard for you to just be able to see things for they are, because you're just so much in rage. And so they've been doing that to me. As in, some of the foulness that I deal with is disgusting. First of all, I'm going to bring up the manipulation, but you know, I didn't even. I was, you know, I would never leave this place without a body cam to see the disgustingness that's happening in real time, and the clownery and the theatrics, but people who've been so exposed to be involved in something so diabolical and still try to maintain the facade. It's surreal. Not too long ago, I went somewhere, and when you go into public, and I live in New York, it's a very condensed area. I went to like a place around like Chinatown, and there was a lot of perps there, and they were going through the whole scheme and the whole like gaslighting. But I was listening to these horrible things. Listen, let me start with the base of this. From this point on, in every videos I make, I will start by always bringing the fact of what they do to children. As I'm saying that, there was like a little toddler that they're messing with me, but I'm not going to get to that point till first you listen to the base. The base that now I call a base in regard of what they're capable of doing and what this program does to even children is this. And I want to always start with this, because after that it shows you what kind of foulness this low life are part of. This evilness does diabolical things to children, and I always put that in their face. When I put that in their face, these clowns with the facade of feminism and avengement and all that, have these ways to try to counter that by being like condescending, like, oh, whatever. And all of a sudden, these people who are supposed to be these justice seekers become so unfair because they are trying to cover up this. And the reason why they try to cover what I'm going to show and what I'll be showing every time in the beginning of my videos is because this shows the true nature of what they're part of, what this program does to children, instead of what they try to present themselves as.
Have ever heard.
Worryingly, a growing number of people are contacting TI support organizations to report that their children seem to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victims themselves, making the torture a generational thing.
A significant number of members, many single mothers and small children, minor children as young as 3 years old, are being targeted and harassed, particularly with voice called V2K. The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice calls. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
The youngest we have record of is as young as 3 years old.
You just heard a child screaming agony like that. This is the kind of horror they're part of. This is what this program does to children. That's just enough. We don't even need to go further than that. That gives a clear idea of how horrible they can be toward children, which gives you an idea of what it is to children, this program. So when these clowns do this nasty manipulation and act like they're justice seekers, you understand exactly what they're doing. You don't internalize the manipulation and you see them for the trash, who are the opposite of justice seekers. Justice needs to seek them. Because what they're part of does this horror to children. They are horrible low lives. And those things that are not even adults, putting efforts to try to rage bait me, to disown me, and to negate what they do to children, grow up like that. And that's why I say thank you, God. With me, they do these diabolical things that I know they do to children, but then try to paint themselves in a way like they're protecting children. And how they paint themselves, this trash, do this manipulation that other target measures have called out. We're clearly test subject to something that is very advanced. We're the guinea pigs that they're using this technology onto. Before maybe this will be used for an actual war or some kind of conflict or in ways that is. But until then, we are the guinea pigs. We are the toys they're using to continuously advance this technology, to continuously improve on this. Unfortunately, when they do that to civilians especially, who can't even protect themselves, that's because they need human beings to improve on something that is very, very sophisticated. And that's why children are being tortured, women and men. I don't try to delude myself of anything. These clowns, they utilize, because as you can see at the bottom of this hierarchy, there's this loserness of human trash who are nobody. Their job is to be like, yeah, no, it's a war. That's the things they say. We are at war and this and that, when in reality, it's the kind of stupidity they try to implant into the target individual. There's no war here. You're just a test subject. You're like a guinea pig. Imagine scientists go to their lab and look at a guinea pig and say, we are at war, guinea pig. That's what's happening here. Now, this loser are nothing, and so, I don't think that they can even restrain you from crashing out and end up killing one of these lowlife. It has happened before. Matter of fact, I think people really are above this whole thing would like that. That's why these mass shootings have happened, even though there's all the red flags that was going to happen. Especially when these people have this technology that they can see all these things, they can influence people, and then the level of surveillance is not even just surveillance, it's control. And let somebody go into a mass shooting, preparing for it, recording himself, the target individual, making a pre-recorded video about, I'm about to do this. And then follow through and killing multiple people. So it clearly, they want target individual to lash out, to crash out. Some of this loserness around me is so pathetic. I was about to show the latest one, but I couldn't even do it because it was so sad. It was like, oh my god, look at this loser. It's not even, this is disgusting. It's so sad. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to do it because it's just so pathetic. They tell me they're gonna frame me with these disgusting, trashy things that are not adults. That are not adults. They're just basically rage bait. The best part is, like, I don't think they knew that being rage bait means that you can push somebody into rage, and the rage of that person can drive that person to do things inclusive of killing. I think they were so delusional, they thought, and because at the same time, I'm not endorsing that, but I'm definitely not somebody who wants to do that. I pray to God to give me strength, but I think they utilize this childlike individual, or these things that are not adults, to do these things. And then, even though this program is pushing people that will never do any of these things, in regard of mass shootings and killing and going to like library and shooting up, they will never do that. They are being driven to that point due to their rage, due to the anger, due to the desperation, and do things that they would never ever would have done unless was driven to that point. So these clowns here, they tell me they're gonna frame me and this and that, and they're having some kind of setup or make it look so. I'm like, okay, well, you do that remotely, because if you do that near me and you play this game, and some of these clowns are so disconnected from reality, and they utilize this non-adult, these things that I refuse to call them human, that I refuse to call them kids. I don't involve where they take pride in getting torture of children, like you heard. They try to mess with me saying torture, they try to, and as I'm just looking at them, but these clowns didn't even know that, well, if you put somebody in a point where you make him enrage over and over and over, he's gonna or she's gonna lash out. They're gonna be a reaction based on the action. Some of these clowns thought they could just sound childish, like, and the target individual, in this case me, will just be pacific. And I gotta admit, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a tough person. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a thug-like person. I am very much a square. I'm not somebody who like fighting people. I'm not that. But they put enough rage into you that you're willing to go all out. Even though that's not even you. That's not something that you do. They just make people so angry to that point. That's why, unfortunately, somebody like Mara May, a prosecutor, lawyer, ended up going to a library, shooting up in the library. That's why Aaron Alexis goes to the workplace, kill 12 people. That's why this Stephen Marlowe kill his neighbors. That's why this James Gleason last October killed his neighbor. They drive people into anger, and that's part of the design of this program. Now, I don't think these clowns thought that could go there. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I'm just saying I'm not even conscious of that. It's like I'm the one who's supposed to just restrain myself, while these clowns are pushing this disgusting. So for me, I know that if I face these clowns behaving this way in front of me, and that's why I say you got to do that remotely, because if you do that in my face, I'm most likely gonna end up lashing out, because I know this little nothing is at the bottom feeding this whole thing, but they enjoy this and they enjoy negating the horror of what they do to children. You think I can just let that happen? For the soul of these children torturing and suffering, you think I can just let that happen? For the soul of these people here.
The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice to skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
The youngest we have record of is
For the soul of children suffering like that, I refuse to just restrain myself if these things do this in front of me. Now, as I was going outside and everybody's playing the game, first of all, this teenage trash. Like I said, there's one I'm not even going to show right now because it's just so pathetic. And you've seen me showing these clowns before. Which they were playing games, and before I get to that point. But like this pathetic, I swear to God, the amount of work they put work in my brain to try to look at this disgusting teen trash in a sexual way is so disgusting. As I'm saying, that they try to mess with me, and they're like, "Oh, we proved it." I wish I could unblur to show you, and they try to do something with the hips, try to make me look at it. It's so pathetic. You have no idea how bad this trash looks like. Some little loser. The other pictures even of somebody else even, and matter of fact, they were messing with me because. And now, when I found the strength to show how sad this low life is, as I was half asleep, they were playing with my brain. And it's a lot of control. I feel like when you're like in that stage, it's like even more manipulated. It's like I almost felt like I was in a hypnosis state of mind. Like I didn't know, I was like almost sleeping, but not fully sleeping. And they're trying to make me, because this clown, when this little disgusting, when this video, when I captured this trash, when they turn her, this little retard turn around, they try to play with my brain with her, the back end, to make, and they can play with your brain for you to perceive even these disgusting things, like they're women, when they look just like that. So they're trying to compare her to the one I saw on Saturday, that on my way back in the building, which I have a whole video. As I was walking in, there was like this teenage, sad, pathetic with something on her head, and I'm like, is that supposed to be? Because they tell me they're gonna frame me, and I'm like, you guys are just some idiots. Like, nah, we're bait. I'm like, this is the bait. So disgusting. And I always have a body cam, so I captured this trash. It's like, Jesus, I almost felt bad. I almost felt bad. Like, I felt bad showing this picture of this little. It's so sad. But tomorrow, perhaps I can show that. But I looked at the video. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. And I'm saying so bad because you can see just posted there. I'm like, can you even, like, in my mind, it's like, when she sees herself and she look at what she looks like and looks at me, does she even, like, and you can tell she's not, I don't think she's even a bad kid, like, in a sense of like a delinquent or anything. I think it's one of those kids that, you know, that are just like almost geeks. They, you know, they're not trouble kids. But in this program, they try to normalize these things, that even these kids like that do these kind of things. That's why I feel bad showing this. It's so sad. It's like, girl, go to school. No, but look at you. It's nasty. I hear a child scream, but before I get to that point. Now listen, these people who torture children like that, wanting me to accept this manipulation. I've made many video. Thing stops here when you find out they torture children. That's enough. There's no more. That's the ultimate validation of everything you need to know about this trash. When you know that they can make children scream like this.
Is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice to skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
That's the ultimate validation that this is not kind of people you want to listen to in regard of what they try to present themselves as I'm saying that you hear a child screaming like that, and the child outside scream sounds like this, but the child outside is screaming like that because then they want to manipulate my brain and act like they're protecting children. It's so disgusting when you hear a child screaming like that because of agony. So nasty. But that's ultimate validation here. They do these things to children. They make children scream like this. Well, they have their kids scream like this outside so they can then manipulate me, act like this experience is organic, and play the protective children. Nasty. Nastiness. But that's the ultimate validation. But it goes further because other target video brings up the same manipulation that we all experience, or a lot of us experience. Not all of us, but a lot of us. You don't even have to go all the way to bring up this here.
And you just start to lose your grasp on what's going on. Ultimately, if you can think of the darkest things that you could say to somebody, something that you would never say to somebody, those are the sorts of things that it uses to destroy you.
At first, they were saying a lot of homosexual things to me. Once that really didn't fly, as far as, getting me mad or whatever, they switched over to talking a lot about pedophilia, and that was happening a lot.
Automated torture, 24/7, 365. You have to understand that it's just a computer. Whatever you don't like, it will continue doing.
It was mocking, deriding, and then they can suggest thoughts and actions and emotions. About 6 months of straight-on torture, driving me to the absolute brinks of sanity.
V2K exploits fears, traumas, insecurities. It deceives and manipulates.
80% of the time now it is negative, extremely negative, horrific. But then they can elicit strong emotional reactions on people, and they can do it with whatever emotion.
These could be regularly appearing subtle thoughts telling you to kill yourself. Victims also report thoughts and dreams being sent into their head daily. The thoughts are often indistinguishable from your own, but are obvious because they seem out of place compared to your usual thoughts. These could be regularly appearing subtle thoughts telling you to kill yourself or to hurt people.
They can elicit strong emotional reactions on people, and they can do it with whatever emotion. We can turn you on right now. We can make you angry. We can make you sad, and they would do it. It was like they press a button, and it just went, and it just would just go away. And I just felt like
they do these nasty things where they can make you have all kind of stimulation experiences. That's degrading. With me, the emotion they make me experience, usually, and that man say something about pedophilia. As always, they do these things with me. It's so disgusting. And then they try to make me subscribe to this. And you hear these clowns try to make me rationalize, manipulate my brain to rationalize this nastiness they do to me in the most retarded way. Coming from people who make children scream like that out of torture. Make children scream in agony because they're being tortured via this technology. And in a program where they can make you have all kind of manipulation experiences that's supposed to be torturous. So for me, what they do when I see children, they manipulate my brain one way or another to have me have experienced something that's disgusting. Earlier they were trying to bring up the disgusting thing they did to me. Listen, today they have this, the way they mess with my brain since August 19, 2019 is like non-stop alteration, and it's different tactical ways of them manipulating my brain. Sometimes they have me like they play my brain to perceive children like they're women, like, and create sensation, like, and perception, like I'm looking at it, like they're children, young children, but create my brain to think of them like they're women and give me sensation. Well, they would make me think, because I was listening to a song, and the song said something about from this girl's from Brooklyn, with a Brooklyn girl with a good skin or something like that. They started making me think of this disgusting things. Those disgusting thing they did to me when I was here. It was somebody that I'm friend on Instagram, and she was there. And there was a child, a young child, 6-year-old or so. And this is an African kid. And the girl, this little girl's skin, and I say girl, they're like, oh, brutal. It's so stupid. This little girl, this little child, her skin, because when you put lotion, your skin starts shining. That's why people put lotion to have a nice skin. This kid's skin is shining. This time making me think of like dark-skinned black women with nice skin and glowing skin, and then try to make me perceive of this dark-skinned little girl in ways that I'll perceive an adult woman, using her skin as a way to play with my brain, to be perceiving this kid in a way it will be sexual. And by making me think of an adult woman, have that kind of perception. And so in the song, when they say this Brooklyn girl with nice skin, this time make me think of how they forced me to have this experience when I saw this story of this Instagram friend. And because she's black, it's like, oh, black girls, you matched it. It's you when you were a kid. It's this, fuck you. Because the way they want me to rationalize this manipulation is these people who can do these horror things to children, which the way they negate that is this unfair things to children.
Especially the women. There seems to
They can do this to children.
support organizations to report that their children seem to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victims themselves, making the torture a generational thing.
A significant number of members, many single mothers and small children, minor children as young as 3 years old, are being targeted and harassed, particularly with voice to skull V2K. The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice to skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
The youngest we have record of is
People who can do these horrible things to children, making children scream in agony like that, then do this manipulation, and then want me to rationalize this manipulation as, now what we're doing, we're matching to you when you were a kid. Let me just say, I'll always bring up this stupidity that they want me to internalize or rationalize, or use that as a rationality to make me accept this. Not too long ago, this guy said something, he used her hand, you go, hold that, it's some nastiness. When in reality, I did something to myself as a child. I've been trying to exaggerate. And they make me imagine using her hand, all kind of things, to exaggerate what I did as a child in middle school. And then use these things that they've exaggerated and bring up just this act of a child that they've been trying to exaggerate to make me accept this current manipulation that we're matching your brain to today, or we're matching your brain today based on your brain as a child in middle school, in the 8th grade, 13, 14 years old. But the people who can make children scream like that are making my brain a child brain. And that should be the rationality. When in reality, it's not even what they're doing. Because when I was a child, I didn't even experience that. Even though I did this damn thing, impulsive act that never happened again, which they've been trying to create a pattern of it happening again. That's the kind of nastiness that coming from people who torture children like that. Make children scream in agony like that. And then use this little gaslighter bottom three in this whole hierarchy to try to rage bait me into losing my mind and not see things for what they are. Clearly manipulation of my mind to make me have this experience from people who torture children. Then forcing me to have these experiences and then try to be like, no, it matches the pair. You remember using it now. You are making me have this experience because you can manipulate the brain. This is what this program can do. A lot of target measure deal with V2K and synthetic telepathy, and this consists of alteration of the mind that's so degrading and disgusting, as they said. And the kind of manipulation, unfortunately, the one with the skin and the, but they do that to all kind of kids, babies. Usually black girls are like, oh, black girls is true method, but they do that to all the kids. For example, this little boy here. And the thing with this little boy is because I have a dating app where I have a little boy like that. And it's funny right now, it's like, oh, the little boy is a little bit older than me. They do this nasty thing towards this little boy like this. Then this baby. Oh, this little girl. Usually they do that. This little girl. It's like, oh, it's a pretty little girl. It's like, you nasty trash. You're forcing me to get this nasty submission to these little babies. From the little ones like this, little boys like that, to the little girls like that. They're like, oh, and they're like, oh, she's a pretty little girl. So, yeah, she's an adorable little girl. But you're forcing me to get this nasty manipulation. I will never internalize these things. I've accepted the reality of what's happening to me. I'm being played in my brain to have this experience. So regardless if it's this little girl like this, or as I'm saying that they kind of try to mess with me, it's like it's the kid mix or now, I was like, I don't care. Or this little boy like this, I will never internalize this thing. And they're like, yeah, we mapped. It's like, yeah, I get it. This is who's mapping. And that level of discredibility doesn't need any further explaining.
With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
And that's it. Do we need to go any further? This is who's supposed to make me think I'm not being manipulated. This is who's in my brain wanting me to internalize this manipulation. This is the mattress. Nasty trash. And the stupidity I just heard in the hallway and in the outside. I heard somebody yell, attract. You know where that come from? In 2014, I followed this person here, looking like that. So today, I should be internalizing this nasty manipulation that make me have toward these little kids, even little kids. Because of somebody like that looked like that in 2014. I thought she was an adult because she looked like this. And like, you see, attract. So now I should be acceptive of this manipulation to these little boys, and to these little girls, and this teenage trash. As I'm saying that, they give me stimulation and like, oh, while I'm making videos. They're nasty low life. Oh. This is who is analyzing. And they're like, yeah, everybody believe us. Like, yeah, okay. Listen, the stupidity I'm forced to have. They tell me how these people are going to do these terrible things to me. But guess who are the people? People who are professional criminals. And like, they believe us. Like, no. If you're involved in them, why would they not be involved in it and get whatever benefit you get out of it? If these people are, for example, they'll tell me some bikers, and they've been telling me there's going to be some bikers. And I remember on my way back, I was in the car and I saw like a biker with the jacket, the Hell's Angel jacket. It's like, oh, they're going to do something. So you tell me that you're supposed to convince me that they believe, which they don't know what you guys do. If the losers around me can do that, you think, and be involved in this, you tell me somebody like in this kind of organization where very familiar with criminality that can harm women, even children. This is you tell me I'm supposed to internalize this because they got involved in this? If a clown like you can be involved in this, and purpose can come in different factor of life. There's professional criminals in this. There's CEO. They want purpose to be all kind of people. I'm supposed to be. Like they're like, nah, they believe us. Like, yeah, like they're like, oh, these people don't. No, they don't care. They know they think that's horrible things to children, and this program is supposed to push people to insanity. They want to be involved and get whatever benefit they can get out of it, just like you. Clown, if anything, they'll be the first one to participate even before you clowns like you. The way they want me to think is so retarded. I'm like, they will be the. You mean criminals being involved in something where children and women being tortured is happening? What? They have this thing so inverse. I'm like, what? They'll be the first people involved in this. But these are the people supposed to make, because they try to use fear tactics to make me internalize that. I was like, would they do that to target individuals who are women? Yes. So if you think that this is going to put the fear to make me internalize that, if I have fear, okay, but that fear is not going to be utilized to make me accept the way you guys manipulate me. You're going to turn me into a fanatic, if anything. I'll run to somebody who can do this kind of harm to me because I refuse to let these opportunists, being professional retards, to gaslight me. Try to utilize the fear tactic of utilizing professional criminals. Like, no, they know that we're mapping. They're okay. The professional criminals like, no. They're probably asking, are you guys manipulating to drive this person crazy? No, right? Dumbass, and they send the rage bait childish retards to gaslight me. It's still nasty. So for me, I will never internalize these things. This trash are involved in a program that tortures little kids of all ages, all gender. Then act like, oh, I let a girl. I was like, okay, you fried that little girl. Now you act like you're protecting little girls or little boys or what, because you can manipulate the brain this way. And then paint yourself in this way. And sometimes they're like, no, we do both. We torture little girls and we protect. And then send this rage-baiting retard trash that the first thing that will happen if they ever play this game in front of me. And these clowns really think that the way they speak to me, it's like, there's something. Yes. Let me show you. There's clear something here. And the rage baiter is not going to cover up what that something is. All the rage baiter is going to do is going to create rage. And I'm going to channel that the right way. Trust me. I'm going to just stay strong. I'll make another video tomorrow, but I refuse to allow these clowns to live this fantasy.